what is the real reason the hell that we see in Diablo 1 is not the real hell at all? In this video, I'll be asking and answering, how come a Hellmouth entrance appears as a blood-red crevice in the earth behind Pepin's clinic once the player has entered level 13? And if hell is fake, why is hell considered as the fourth and final set of levels in Diablo 1? And finally, if this really isn't the true burning hells, who or what is responsible for the pseudo-hell to appear?
The sanctity of this place has been fouled.
In the original Diablo, we first defend the steps of the cathedral, battling through a labyrinth and the demonic forces that are hell-bent in barring our way. As we descend, the demons become more powerful. The areas explored are broken down to 4 distinct zones from, first, the cathedral, which features perhaps the most iconic levels and music in the game. It is also home to both the Butcher and the Skeleton King.
That stench. Is it me? Or are there zombies down here?
Next, the catacombs are darker and more cramped than the cathedral, with tight passageways, the undead, and few doors.
It's hot down here.
Third is the caves that lie below the actual cathedral building and are, as the name implies, large open caverns with lava and wooden palisades strewn about.
I must be getting close.
And finally, we head down to hell. The last area features large open rooms and wide corridors with both aggressive and dangerous monsters, spikes and bodies strewn about, and at the bottom of which are both Archbishop Lazarus and the Lord of Terror himself. But is what we see really hell itself? And if not, where is it located? And how did this version of hell come to be? Well, we 100% do travel to hell through the Diablo series, and specifically to the lair of the Lord of Terror twice in the next installments. In Diablo 2, we venture into the haunted Chaos Sanctuary, shaped like an unholy crucifix and reminiscent of the warrior's time in the cathedral in Tristram. It's there we open 5 seals to unleash the Lord of Terror in his fortress, atop a river of flame. In Diablo 3, Act 4, during the battle against the Primeval, the Nephilim are transported directly into Diablo's realm of terror, this time in a different location than the Chaos Sanctuary, but nonetheless the domain of the Lord of Terror. According to the accounts of demons said to be familiar with this realm, it's lonely and desolate, filled with horrific scenes of darkness and shadow, fear and surprise. The resultant tension constantly cycles to a crescendo of madness and horror. Consequently, this realm is the least populated of all the realms of hell, as few demons can withstand its unrelenting torment. But how can the same realm be so vastly different? Well, hell itself is actually quite diverse. Enter the 7 hells.
Diablo.
Proceed, hero, into Terror's lair.
The Burning Hells, for all intents and purposes, are actually a physical location, divided into 7 realms, now each corresponding to one of the great evils, and can geographically be distinguished between upper and lower regions. Every level of hell exists in its own void, with a paltry 200 feet separating each level from each other. No walls mark the edge of hell, and flying creatures frequently travel between the hell's levels. The 7 realms are also located in the center of hell itself, while the outreaches of hell are controlled by demons known as Mallet Lords. Each realm does take on an aspect of a great evil, such as Andariel's realm of anguish, said to cause so much mental torment that its inhabitants try to flee to her twin brother Duriel's realm of pain in a vain attempt to extinguish some of their mental anguish with physical pain instead. But if there is a physical hell, how did we see hell come to Earth? Enter the Great Exile.
So it came to be that there was a great revolution within the burning hells, known as the Dark Exile. The lesser evils overthrew the three prime evils and banished their spirit forms to the mortal realm. The demons Belial, the Lord of Lies, and Asmodan, the Lord of Sin, fought to claim rulership of hell during the absence of the three brothers. All of hell polarized between the factions of Belial and Asmodan, while the forces of the high heavens continually battered upon the very gates of hell.
Ancient Horadric texts record that Andariel and the other lesser evils once overthrew the three prime evils, Diablo, Mephisto, and Baal, banishing them from hell to our world. Here they caused mankind untold anguish and suffering before they were finally bound within the Soul Stones.
During the eternal conflict, the angels and demons alike discover that the artifact they'd fought over, known as the World Stone, was absconded. The stone itself was said to shape reality, and neither angels nor demons were said to have held onto its power for long in their unending war, and the remnants of each side holding it was seen in their ancient battleground known as the Pandemonium Fortress. However, with the creation of Sanctuary and, of course, man, plus endless possibilities, the Primevals decided that they would stage a faux exile from hell against a pact heaven and hell had maintained that banned either angels or demons entering Sanctuary after the Sin War. They also, more importantly, staged their own capture, with their souls contained via soul stones, which not only would further empower the great evils on Sanctuary, but also gave them a tool to directly corrupt the reality-shaping World Stone as told by the fallen angel and traitor Iswal during Diablo 2.
Tyrael was a fool to have trusted me. You see, it was I who told Diablo and his brothers about the Soul Stones and how to corrupt them. It was I who helped the Prime Evils mastermind their own exile to your world. The plan we set in motion so long ago cannot be stopped by any mortal agency. Hell itself is poised to spill forth into your world like a tidal wave of blood and nightmares. You and all your kind are doomed.
Long ago, the Soul Stones were given to the Horadrim by the Archangel Tyrael. They were used to bind the three prime evils. I now know that even these holy artifacts were no match for Diablo's power. I hope that his two brothers are more securely held, but I fear the worst.
But that doesn't explain Tristram and its Hellmouth. Well, during the events of Diablo 1, the Lord of Terror, before being struck down by the warrior, like his brothers, was trapped in a soul stone by the mages known as the Horadrim, and he was patiently waiting under the earth of the cathedral for a host. Diablo first tried to possess King Leoric, the ruler of Tristram, but due to his weakened state and the strong will of the king, Diablo failed to gain full control. Therefore, the demon abandoned the king, which in turn left the king crazed and senseless. Lazarus, the archbishop, then kidnaps King Leoric's son, Prince Ulbricht, leading the boy deep into the catacombs, where he inserts the demon's soul stone into the prince's forehead, and this allowed Diablo to possess and warp the prince, thereby attaining material form. Now, Diablo then had a body, but he was far from his full power, so he bides his time and summons countless hordes of demons infesting the entire underground complex. However, he gradually turns the region that he was inhabiting into an outpost of hell.
Andariel's presence here could mean that the forces of hell are once again aligned behind Diablo and his brothers. If this is true, then I fear for us all. You must kill her before the monastery becomes a permanent outpost of hell, and the way east lost forever.
But how did hell manifest? Well, What we actually see on level 13 in Diablo 1 is called Hell, but it's actually a reality warping around the presence of a great evil versus the actual hell or domain of Diablo we see in Diablo 2 and 3. What's really exciting about this effect is that it was said to transpire even due to just the presence of the great evils in their soul stones, long before they gained physical forms. When housed in Kurast, Mephisto's shard of hate was said to permeate rage through the once pure Zakarum. By the time we visit the area, all but a handful of residents are corrupted, and we see directly Mephisto's influence manifest through the hearts of men and even the architecture of this city itself. Above ground, there are spikes and golden skulls, the symbol of Mephisto almost percolating his hate through the architecture itself. Indeed, it can be surmised that if left long enough unchecked, a great evil's mere presence would warp Sanctuary into a different version of hell, which we even see when Asmodan warps the Ariat crater into a heart of sin. Finally, this is what makes Baal's ultimate plan so impressive. Knowing the altering effects of the Soul Stones, Baal's final gambit was to insert his Soul Stone into the World Stone and turn it into one giant shard of destruction, and therefore warping reality, dominating it and turning it into an entire realm of destruction. And although the brothers did lose, it really was a masterstroke of genius, which of course forced the Archangel Tyrael to destroy the stone by the end of Diablo 2, but more curious is that not only was the stone destroyed to unknown consequences, but also that the shards of the corrupt stone scattered around Sanctuary, and the fallout of that event is the story basis of Diablo Immortal. Now, however you feel about Immortal, the idea of Baal's destruction lives on through his shards of destruction, maybe creating more pocket versions of hell, as we saw in the quote-unquote pseudo-hell of Diablo 1, which is a harrowing yet intriguing idea, far surpassing what I had anticipated for Diablo Immortal.
I gave my life to destroy it.